Hi, hello everyone. Thanks a lot for being with us today for the Prix Virginia 2020 award ceremony. It's a real pleasure to have you there in a good health on this special occasion. As for every edition of the prize, I think about my grandmother, Virginia, who made all this possible. I really want to thank all the jury members who agree to collaborate with us on this new edition. I really hope one day I will be able to shake hands with you all. Thanks for your time, your sharp eyes, and your insight opinion. Thanks to you, we can today honor and shine a light on the work of the talented woman photographer. I also want to thank my team that has been to my side for years now. Lucie Conticello, Marie Descourtieux, Mélanie Montfort, Noé Novian, Maxime Thibet. And now I leave the floor to Marie Descourtieux.
Hi, this is a very peculiar edition, not just because of the virtual jury and the virtual ceremony, which is a first, but also because of the high number of applications we received. 1,452 applications coming from 89 countries. This is the highest number since the creation of the Prix Virginia in 2012. Normally, we receive around 500 applications, so 1,452. What an amazing number. Many thanks to all the candidates for their passion and for sharing their amazing work. 25% of them were French. Many came from the USA, Russia, and UK, but also from Iran, Italy, and Germany. Nearly a third of applications was sent from 82 countries, from Chile to Yemen, New Zealand, Costa Rica, and Vietnam, from Sweden to China by way of India, Finland, and Turkey, from Japan to Brazil by way of Australia, Switzerland, and Mexico. This year, the Prix Virginia really went all around the world, thanks to you. I now leave the floor to Lucie, who selected the jury.
I just wanted to tell you a bit about how I selected the jury of the 2020 Prix Virginia. And my thoughts were that I wanted to ensure that the work submitted would be reviewed by professionals with diverse cultural backgrounds and experiences. This I really knew would contribute to the richness of the jury's conversation and deliberation. My shortlist was therefore consisted of people I admire for the groundbreaking articles, exhibitions, teachings, and writings that they have produced, but whose professional life experiences and field of expertise are markedly different. Silvia, Marie, and I believe that in order to do justice to the submitted portfolios, it's critical that the jury members take the time to thoughtfully consider all the photographs in front of them and to understand what their author's ambition might have been. Unfortunately, we had a couple of jury members who dropped out at the very last moment due to unforeseeable personal issues. But without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the 6 members of the jury. And these are Simon Bainbridge, journalist and curator, former editorial director of the British Journal of Photography in London. Audrey Génois, executive director of Momenta, an international contemporary art biennial devoted to the image in Montreal. Marta Gili, director of the National School of Photography in Arles. Leheto Mahola, head of the Market Photo Workshops in Johannesburg. Elisa Medde, managing editor at Foam magazine in Amsterdam. and Sylvia Schilge, president and founder of the Prix Virginia in Paris. This jury chose to acknowledge also the work of 10 additional photographers who they felt had presented an outstanding body of work. And these are Elena Aya Bundarakis, Martina Cirese, Emily Graham, Aimé Hoving, Hyo-Young Kim, Diana Markosian, Anne Moffat, Diane Pizzitelli, Rebecca Topakian, Martina Zanini. And the word goes to Sylvia.
Thank you, Lucy. Today, the Prix Virginia Awards, its 5th laureate. This year, the jury chose her unanimously. And the winner is Christina Demidel. Hi, Christina, and congratulations. I will now leave you with Lucie Conticello, Director of Photography at M. Le Monde.
Hi, Christina. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sylvia, also for the presentation. It's very exciting to be here. Like, not really, but being with you virtually.
In video. We wish it were in person.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. Thank you.
Christina, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions to help our viewers have a better sense of the work that you showed.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to start with maybe a question that a lot of people ask, but I was wondering what made you decide to commit to photography in the first place?
Oh, I think I was just marveled by the tool itself. I started in photography with analog, so I just had this really cathartic moment in the lab one day, and it was magical for me. And that's when I decided to drop what I was doing, that was drawing. I used to draw comic books. That's what I wanted to do, and storyboards and so on. I was studying fine arts, but focusing on that. I always loved telling stories in small squares. But then I discovered photography. I was just taking pictures to have as a reference to draw afterwards. And I discovered the dark room and I dropped drawing. So I was fascinated by the tool. And then I understood much better how it works and all the layers it has. I became a photojournalist, and then not anymore. And now I don't know where I am, but it seems to be working.
It seems to be working. And in fact, I wanted to ask you, I guess, something specific about the Journey to the Center, which is the work that you presented for the prize. What made you want to pursue this story on the border crossing between Mexico and the US? What drew you to the story?
I think, well, I moved to Mexico like 6-7 years ago, and I travel a lot, but my base was there. But it's always difficult to work and to have something to say quickly in the place where you're from. No, you always need more time and really make sure that this is really your opinion, and find a way to add all the layers. Also, because I am half Spanish, we have like a weird, very tense historical relationship with Mexico. So it's not that I can arrive there and say, okay, this is Mexico, and then go back home. So I really wanted to, it took me a lot of time to find a topic that I could talk about with something that I think could contribute to an understanding, because of my vision. And at the time, it was this like I realized, because all the caravans started happening, and the weird role that Mexico was playing, because it's the home of many migrants, but it's also the filter that the US uses to stop the migration from countries that are more in the south. So it's really a very ambivalent, not evil, not good. It's really in the middle. And for me, when I find the subject and a topic that is so open and so open to different opinions, that's where I jump, because I really try to avoid a topic or a subject where there is just one point of view, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So I leave it to something open, and Mexico is not good, it's not bad, it's just there. There's just something very interesting happening in its territory.
So you're attracted to stories that are complicated or not clear.
That have many layers, that you can totally understand both sides.
Uh-huh. Well, this kind of brings me to the next question, which is tied to something that you touched upon briefly earlier. You always blend straight documentary pictures with conceptual images, so images that are built, that are arranged. Why is that?
Because for me, the priority is the story and the approach and what I want to say about the story. So there is a reality. I'm not talking about the reality. I'm talking about the story that happens in that reality. And for me, the priority is the story I tell. And sometimes reality is enough, and sometimes it's not. I take the best of reality when it's really, really very eloquent. But then there's things that I cannot find in reality. So I just arrange a few things. It's not that I stage, I don't cast people. I just arrange a few things around so it becomes more visually eloquent in a way. Because it's the priority is the story, and in this case even more, because everything is inspired and taken from the book by Jules Verne, Journey to the Center of the Earth. So there is a story, there is a spine, a structure that I need to follow somehow. And there is things that I will never get in reality. So, but I would say 20% is staged. The rest is documentary, or really like very small changes, like asking someone to pose, which is also like not straight documentary. Portrait is not documentary in a way.
I think this is really what gives it this kind of quality of being so poetic. I mean, I know it's and I wonder, I mean, it is made possible because you mix these two genres, but I'm wondering if you fear that the viewer is left uncertain about the distinction between one and the other. How do you resolve that kind of tension?
I mean, for me, it's very clear and I don't see the problem. But I understand that in a market and in a world where you need to like categorize things, my work is very difficult to place in either art or documentary. I'm too arty to be a documentary photographer. I'm too documentary to be an artist. It comes with a name and I'm happy with that. It's in the middle and that's it. But I think it is, as long as it just drags people into the story and into the reality, I'm not pretending it to be true. I just show what it is, and I don't try to fool people. For me, it is very clear the images that are staged and the images that are not. I will never show an image that is staged and make it look like real. I would never do that.
No, and I think honestly, I really think that your work is heightened because it is this mix, and it's kind of it to some extent gives the viewer a chance to really empathize to some extent and see themselves in something that's beautiful I was just wondering if you resolved the issue by stating it in captions or in writing what it is, or if you want to leave the viewer to experience the story more openly.
I think I came up with this way of working to avoid captions. For me, captions is the worst thing I can do. I hate captions. So I thought I need to do something that I don't need to write captions. No, for me, it's I don't know. It's like when you go to a movie or even a documentary movie, you don't need to explain what each scene is. For me, it's the whole story. We're asking photography to have a scaffolding that for me, doesn't need it anymore. You just look at the images, you know what it's about, you have plenty of references and you enjoy it. And then you might even learn something, or the questions that I'm presenting will force you to go and do your own research, which is for me how it should go and how it should be. Like not giving answers, but sharing your questions. And just ask people to go and find out by themselves on Wikipedia, on our articles of very serious people who write about it. So.
Right. Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. And it is, yeah, it's really interesting about your work. And I think it really stands out because of that.
And it's a lot more fun. Yourself seriously. Yes, you build a relationship with people that is very different. Also with the subjects and the people I work with, it is very different because it's not like a journalist that goes there and try to, like get information in exchange of nothing, of course, and you totally like give away to that person and you have to trust him. And so I never felt comfortable with that. So it's like we play together. I challenge these people. It's like, do you want to come to the desert and jump with me on a jumping bed? I say, yes. And then they come and then something happens. It's much more playful, and I don't pretend to be doing documentary or chronicle at all. So it's just one point of view.
I just wanted to ask you briefly, what role do you think the Prix Virginia Award will hold for you at this point in your career? How can it sustain you?
Well, it comes at the best time, as you all can imagine, because these are complicated and very insecure times for all the industry, and for photographers, and for women, of course, more, because we always go a little bit behind. A little bit behind the front row of the market. So it's actually because I was struggling not only with confinement because I couldn't travel, but also because, I mean, all these projects, they never come from assignments, as you can imagine. Nobody will tell me, hey, Christina, do you want to go to Mexico and spend 3 years working on Jules Verne version of the immigration? It's never going to happen. So everything is self-funded. And because Mexico is quite special and there is some security involved, it's not a cheap project to produce. So it was stopped. I mean, I was doing slowly, but with the support of the Prix Virginia, it's on a highway. I'm actually living on the 30th to finish it. So it's great. It's great. It's great. It comes at the perfect time. And I thank you very much for that. It's great.
Wonderful to know. It's wonderful to know that the prize is, contributing.
No, it's making it possible, literally. Apart from the honor of being awarded that with the Prix Virginia, because it started in 2012. I started in 2012 as well. That's when I published The Afronauts. So it's always been there, the Prix Virginia, because it's very few awards that are just for women, where we have, of course, much more chances to get awards. So it's great. It's like everything like closing a circle, and it's beautiful. I was very emotive when Sylvia called me. Yes.
Nice. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. It's perfect. I'm very enjoyed that you can make a nice travel in Mexico, and I wait to see your photo. Thank you for being here today with us to award the Prix Virginia 2020. This award will be nothing without you. Happy New Year, everyone, and I see you in 2022 for the 6th Prix Virginia. Bonsoir, merci beaucoup. Bonne soirée.